Idea that you have to be still in order to meditate and that you have to meditate in order to have access to your intuition is actually incredibly ableist, and I have definitely ended friendships and relationships over people who said similar things like that to me. Not just that, there were other things adding up to it. I mean, people want to know how to access their intuition, and that makes perfect sense. Considering like what I do, it makes sense that people, that my clients would be attracted to me because they also have intuitive gifts, right? The thing is, they do. Like, I can't say all of them because I haven't checked everybody, but the majority of the people that I meet with, they do have, they not only everybody has intuition, okay? Everybody has an intuition. We are all, everybody, even the fucking finance bro or the guy that helped you move into your apartment via TaskRabbit. Everybody has intuition, and we're all making choices using our intuition. In a situation where we feel like we need to explain the choices that we made, we almost always will then like back it up with some kind of logic-based reasoning, but actually it's our intuition that we made that choice based off of. There's a name for that principle. I don't remember what it is. But I do get people saying to me like, well, I know I should be meditating more. And then they kind of look at me like, okay, medium, you're a medium. Do you meditate? Is this how you do what you do? Like, are you like, I don't know. Maybe people think that I'll do a get ready with me sometime because maybe people think that I'm like sitting in my little office, or maybe I'm like outside touching grass, like meditating, like in the grounding position 4 hours before my sessions. No, do you want to know what I'm doing? I'm usually like on the toilet because I have to pee one last time before the 45-minute 1 hour long session. I'm usually slamming some water, sometimes eating like I don't know what the hell my deal is where I can't just do things in like a normal time frame. So I started eating specifically macadamia nuts like as my first meal before sessions. I'll just like you don't need a whole bunch of macadamia nuts to feel freaking full. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And sometimes I'm like changing my shirt or changing my sweatshirt sometimes like 2 minutes before the session. I'm not in here meditating. I'm not in here grounding. I'm not in here like touching grass. Okay. I'm not fucking touching grass. I'm on the top level of an apartment. I'm not fucking, there's no fucking grass to be touching. Okay. I think the closest grass to me, I don't even think I would want to touch because it's probably a dog park. That shit's nasty. One, I do, it's not totally fair for me to say I don't do any grounding. I do some grounding before and after sessions. I have a mini trampoline behind me, and I'll bounce on that sucker a couple of times before sessions and then after sessions. And there is something for me, says probably, I don't know, probably other mediums do something similar or it's just grounding for me. Something about like it's like shaking the energy off, but it's kind of like stomping, right? Like I have heard other psychics say, like I did a reading with a chick, and at the end of it, she was like, "Get up and go stomp, and like clap your hands and stomp." And I thought she was being crazy, so I didn't do it. And then we were just trying to we were on the phone, and then she was just trying to have like a regular conversation with me, like an ego to ego conversation, but she kept channeling, and she was continuing to channel. And then she's like, "Mistee, did you get up and stomp?" And I was like, "I didn't do that. I didn't fucking do that." And she's like, "Okay, I'll wait for you. Get off the phone with me and go fucking stomp." And I did. And then she stopped channeling. So yeah, those things actually do help for me. Like I said, mini trampoline. I don't think you can actually see the trampoline. Bounce on here maybe like 5-10 times. So that's something I do before and after sessions. And then I also keep like a little salt jar. Keep these all over the freaking place, by the way. So I'll take this and I literally like, personally, I rub it like on my shoulders and my back and also everywhere, like literally all of my neck. And then sometimes if it's like a particularly heavy session where there was like a lot coming my way that I want to make sure I'm like scrubbed off, I actually feel like I need this right now. I'll take it and I'll like sprinkle it over my head. Like literally like this. I literally put it fucking everywhere. I also have to vacuum like every freaking day because my apartment, I'm not kidding you. I have salt, these little salt jars, in every room of my apartment, sometimes two of them, because I use them for everything. I use it for everything. And then mostly I use the salt after because I'm not really going into the salt is to like remove. It's to like remove energy that I don't want to like follow me around. And I'm not usually going into sessions with something like that. I did find that I've started keeping salt in my car because I was like, I have found that I'll this is a new thing. Well, it's not new. It's just been a while since this has happened. Where I was like out in public. I think I was like going to a coffee shop or something like that, and I immediately started like getting information about the people around me. And when I was younger, I would have thought that I was just like delusional and making shit up. But now that I know what I know, I just know. And I don't want to be walking around just knowing things about my fucking barista, you know, or at the like the lady at the table across from me. So I asked them for like a little to-go container of salt. I just fucking doused myself in salt. Like that exact thing I just showed you. Now I just keep it in my car and it stops. It'll stop the channel freaking mid freaking channel, okay? So yeah, that's something I do to make the channeling stop. And then the grounding is like the jumping on the trampoline. I mean, that works instantly. And I do that before and after to ground. What I don't do is meditate because and like like I'm creating a glossary of new terms. It's the same terms but using different words because like I genuinely hate a lot of the language that we use. You can't see my fun drink. I genuinely hate a lot of the language that we use because I feel like it's like gentrified. That there it is. Gentrified spirituality has ruined a lot of spiritual terms for me. One of those being meditation, okay? Another being shadow work. I'm coming up with a new term for that because I don't like it. I don't know why, but I don't like it. It doesn't resonate because when I'm doing shadow work, it is scarier. Like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? I did some shadow work. It's like I did some yard work. No. When I'm doing shadow work, I'm like, I have what I call an energy hangover for like the next 2 to 3 fucking days. My shadow work, it renders me completely incapacitated in my cry closet. I literally usually end up just falling asleep in there for the night. That's where I end up in the fetal position in the cry closet. It's not shadow work. It's not just like, stupid. It's like demon time is what it fucking is, okay? It's literally like demon time. Anyways, meditation. Similarly, I'm trying to come up with new words. If you have an idea, put it in the comments. That would be great. I would love to hear your ideas for meditation time because the idea that you have to be still in order to get in touch with your intuition is actually so fucking annoying to me because, by the way, no. There's nothing about being still that encourages any part of my fucking psyche to get in touch with me. When I'm still, I mean, I'm still right now. I'm also on a fair amount of pharmaceutical medication, so that'll do it. That's the only way I can be still. There's a reason why I work out at the time of day that I do, and it's because that's when the medications are fucking wearing off, and I gotta move my body, okay? Fucking gotta move my body, because if I don't, then I'll be up all night rearranging my apartment. Half the time, I'm still up all night rearranging my fucking apartment. I don't have that much stuff. It's not that fucking big. Why am I always doing that? Anyways, I'm not still. Meditation, oh god, what a stupid word. Getting in touch with my intuition does not mean my body is still. It usually means my body is moving, because for me, and I think a lot of other people who have experienced complex PTSD and or head trauma and or child abuse and or ADHD, autism, like whatever, any neurodivergence, essentially, if you haven't been knocked in the head and if your parents loved you, kudos. You can fucking meditate in a still position and get in touch with your intuition. However, everybody else, I don't think that that's how that fucking works for us, because when I'm trying to be still, like even right now, my body is screaming. It's like I need, like, literally, and I don't even know where to start. It just wants to move. It wants to stretch. It wants to feel. My body wants to feel. My body wants to fucking feel. Whether that be through movement or through a stim. Like I have what I call a pain stim, which is like I genuinely really love. And I'm not just like being dramatic. I genuinely love being in pain, but specific kinds of pain. I recently posted on my Instagram like an acupressure pad. If I'm going to be still in an attempt to get in touch with my intuition, I have to be physically in pain. So the acupressure pad is amazing. I also have one of these like Thera canes, which was recommended to me via my acupuncturist. Yeah, so the only way for me to like be still and meditate is to have a physical sensation attached to that. The acupressure pad, this Theracane thing, I was going to be so stupid. I was like, there's no way. I don't think I'm going to like this. But it basically, you can use it to put pressure on parts of your back and body that you normally can't put pressure on. And it feels so good. It feels so good because it's like, how else do you, unless you go get massages, which I do, but even then, sometimes I go get a massage. I'm like, that was not hard enough. You are not, like, I need you to be a bigger person physically, and I need you to put your whole fucking body weight into your elbow, into my fucking back, okay? Yeah, so that's the only way that I can be still and meditate is when I'm in pain. Through working out, I alchemize my emotional experiences that maybe like didn't get the limelight in the moment because of who knows what was going on. Either I suppressed those emotions or just didn't feel like didn't feel like a safe place for me to like express those emotions. I have been working out and started weeping my fucking eyes out. Literally in the middle of my set, in the middle of the fucking gym. And I've gotten to this doesn't happen as much as it used to. When I first started lifting, it happened fucking a lot, which was really bizarre to me. But for some reason, like, I think I'm just like, I know that I'm crazy enough. I know that I'm crazy. And so, or like, I know I'm eccentric. So I was never like embarrassed about it ever. And so I'd just be like crying. Like, I remember I was like holding the plank pose and listening to Jordan Peterson's like biblical series, just started fucking weeping. Yeah, so I'll have those experiences. But what I think is happening is it's like my body, those muscles, I really feel like our emotional experiences are held in our, maybe it's our muscles, maybe somewhere. They're held in the body. For me, I really think it's like in my fucking muscle, okay? And then like when I'm at the point of exertion or exhaustion where I'm like working those enough or they feel enough tension, then that emotion like comes up and it gets to finally be released, which is why I am such a huge proponent of somatic processing, because I have any opportunity that my sweet noggin gets to intellectualize and experience and keep and essentially bypass my emotional feeling state, it will do, okay? It being me, my brain will intellectualize everything it can in order for me to not feel it. So that being said, I purposefully seek out activities and seek out experiences that bypass my brain, bypass my thinking and my intellect, so that my body gets to process the fucking thing, which is really scary because it is because they're usually always really big emotions, and it requires me and my ego letting go and not making sense of it. Because what will happen during these, I'll give examples in a second, but what will happen in these like somatic processing experiences, I won't know, like I'm not having any conscious, I'll have like flashes, but I'm not typically having conscious thoughts like, oh, I'm so sad about the time that my dad did this thing. I'll be in complete weeping, sobbing tears, and I don't know why. And I don't know what I don't know what those emotions, what experience those emotions are tied to, but I also have learned over time, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to know. And that's actually like the most freeing part about it for me. It's like, I do not need to know what the emotion, what experience the emotion is tied to in order for it to get released. honestly, what a fucking relief for me, because there's things that I don't want to know. And that's why I don't process it in the moment that it happened, because I didn't want to be acknowledging that it was happening. So if my body can do the processing on my behalf, I am all for that. Like 110% give me that option, even though it is scary to let go, to like make my ego let go of my processing experience. It's still worth it for me. So that is how I feel like meditation works best for me, and probably other neurodivergents slash like anyone who's had any head trauma and or any complex PTSD, is getting into your body does not necessarily mean being still in your body, because being still in my body does not actually put me in my body. It puts me in my brain, because my brain is freaking out because it's my body is uncomfortable. My body is constantly uncomfortable. Everything is uncomfortable right now. Everything is uncomfortable all the fucking time. And that's why that's why being still is not how you access your intuition as a neurodivergent person, because being still, all you're doing is becoming acutely aware of your brain, of the signals your body is giving your brain that you're uncomfortable. We need to take back meditation from gentrified spirituality, because it doesn't mean you need to be still. It doesn't mean that being in your body means you need to be still in order to access your intuition. Not at all. I feel like I get my best intuitive hits when I'm actively doing something. Like for me, it's almost always hiking, running, or walking. Like when I'm moving my body, that is when I get those hits. There is also something in EMDR, if you're familiar with that. What is that? Like rapid movement something. I've done it once. The only reason being, like, I couldn't find a practitioner since then that takes my insurance. But the idea with it is basically you get a stimulus. So you work with a practitioner, usually a therapist, LC, a licensed clinical social worker or something. And what you're doing is they are either through binaural sounds or through some kind of pressure, giving your body one-sided stimulus, like 1 2 1 2, like back and forth. For me, my therapist had me hold, they were like these two joysticks. What it does is that, like, back and forth body stimulation, the idea, and I'm sure this is backed up by some kind of studies, is that it also connects your neural pathways in your corpus callosum, which is the thing that it's like this neural connectivity network that is in the center of your brain, connects the right and left hemisphere of your brain, right here. And this can become, my understanding is the corpus callosum can become dysfunctional because of all the things I just listed: PTSD, head trauma, so on and so forth. It's like your brain doesn't, the left and right side of your brain doesn't communicate as effectively as a neurotypical person who has not experienced those things. And so having this right-left stimulation, the idea is it connects the right and left side of your brain to do that communication. And then when you have access, when these two are communicating with each other, that is when healing is most effective and can happen. And I think it also puts you in theta brainwave state. Genuinely, I don't see how going for a walk or going for a hike or running is any different, because you're moving your feet are hitting the ground, right, left, right. Like, what? Like, I think it's literally, I think we like are self-administering EMDR every time we go for a fucking walk. That's how I think about that. I genuinely cannot see how that would be any different. Yeah. Things I've seen in sessions, one of the first things that comes through, a lot of them, it's writing. It's that their intuition will come through for them as they are writing. There's one woman in particular, actually, that she had like a guide that would speak to her. It's more like he would like use her hand to channel. So she was like, he was speaking to her through the words that she was writing. And then there was like, but it's different for everyone, because there was a different client where I could see, she was like, well, how do I like get in touch with my intuition, or like, what do I need to do? And I saw immediately it was when she was writing, but it was actually the spaces in between. It was like if she was journaling, if she was writing something and then takes a break, maybe is drinking some tea or some water and kind of like looking outside. It's like the image that I got, like her writing something seated and then pauses and is like looking out the windows, like bay windows specifically. It's in those pauses that her intuition spoke to her. For some people, it's like writing, but more calculated. It's like they need to be writing something, but it's almost like they have to be strategizing as they're writing, like business plans or something. And like in creating that structure, it's like the structure becomes the architecture for how their intuition communicates on top of that. Other people's intuition communicates to them only if they are like recharging in a way that allows their body to be safe to connect with their intuition. For instance, I had a client where specifically this specific client needed to sit on the ground with her tailbone, like literally, I can see it in my mind's eye. It's like a lightning rod, or like some kind of like a light rod, like through from her tailbone up to her head. And it's like from there, like with her body touching the earth, like seated cross-legged essentially, with her tailbone touching the earth. From there, it like lit up her body like a glow stick, like a battery or something. And then it was like nerve endings. It's like these psychic nerve endings could like come from her body and pick up the information in the environment, and then she was like a master alchemist basically, which people who are intimately attached to the earth, I have noticed, are always alchemists in some way, because the earth, this is what I'm piecing together, because yes, thank you. I've learned I can talk to plants recently. So the trees were just telling me that it's because the earth and trees are master alchemists, right? Like you think about a tree, and that they're telling me that they do things that we can't even conceptualize, which I would 100% believe that. But yeah, that like they are alchemizing, not just because we think about like the chemical reaction of what they bring in bring in CO2 and then alchemize that somehow. Like, how do they do that respiration process, and then they release oxygen? They're saying that they do so much more for us that we can't comprehend. But people that are intimately, I'm seeing too, it's not just trees. It's like, well, I mean, like all plants we know do this, but I think it's literally like the earth. I don't know it's like the earth, everything of the earth I'm seeing like is an alchemist or has. It's like our master alchemists. So people I've noticed that have a lot of earth energy, where they like literally, for them to be at their best functioning selves, need to be literally touching the ground. They are almost always, if not every time that I have seen, also master alchemists. Like find ways to like make. It's like if they have, like if life gave them lemons, they would make lemonade, but it's like if life gave them rocks, they would find a way to turn it into gold bricks or something. Like those kinds of people. Yeah, I've also seen people how they get in touch with their intuition. It's also like elemental. Like, so for instance, there was a client where she cracked me up. She kept telling me, she was like, yeah, I know I need to ground, or people keep telling me I need to ground, and like I'm too scattered, I need to ground, but every time I go to do that, I just hate the way it feels. And I felt into her energy, and she had a lot of water. And I'm not reading people's astrology, by the way. I have no fucking idea what their astrology is, and even if I did, I don't know anything about astrology. Like, you could tell me and I don't know what the signs, I don't know. I've heard of all the signs, don't get me wrong. I'm not freaking living under a rock. I'm not an earth person, but yeah, anyway, so she had like a lot of water energy. So what's happening for her is she was like engaging with the world in one of two ways. Either like way too solid, she was like trying to like nail down the logistics of her life in a way that were like, it was too solid, it was too structured, or she was doing things that were too ephemeral, where it's like, this is really like literally like up in the air. This is like vaporous essentially, and what she needed, there's something in her energy that is like the in between. It's literally, it's water, okay? It's liquid water specifically. And what that meant for her is it's like things had to like had to have some structure, but had to have a lot of flexibility, and also needed a container, because water will just like fill everything that it's in. And so it's like the shape of the not the shape of the container. For her specifically, it was like a riverbed. It's like the riverbed needs to have like a path. It needs to have a path to go, because water isn't going to go any, it's not like air or waves. It's not just going to like go on its own accord. It needs to have a path set out for it. Do you see what I mean? But it can also like carve its own. It just has to have like some amount of movement, some amount of like something of a structure, but not like ice, because that's what it kept showing up for her. Is she kept saying like, I just feel frozen, I just feel like kind of like stuck. And I was like, yeah, that's because you're becoming too solid. Like you're trying to like make things in your life way too freaking solid, and I can see you're literally stuck. Like I can see, instead of being like water flowing like through the Grand Canyon or something, you're literally like ice and you're not able to move. So that was really amazing. So the thing that her guides were telling her to do is to ground, was literally to get into water. They specifically told her that she should go do some like staycations, just get like an Airbnb to herself every once in a while, and literally though specifically one that had a bath, and just submerge herself in the bath for hours at a time over the weekend. And she was like, you know what is funny about that? I've literally been considering doing just that. I'm like, well, there it is. That's what they're telling you to do. Yeah. And then the other thing was like, if she could get into a body of water up to like her calves, or like mid calf, like up to her knees, that was like her body's version of grounding, was like having the water be her mediator essentially, like be. Yeah, because like just the earth is like too uncomfortable for her system, and just the air was just floaty and scattered and disorienting. So it is really interesting to see some people, not everyone, but some people are very elemental in how their energy works and their energy is processed, and how they are asked to get in tune with themselves and recharge themselves. So yeah, and all those things I just listed, the only one where it required her to be still was the earth. Was like, sometimes people more attached to the earth need to sit still, but they seem to have the natural capacity to do that. I haven't met a single person where I've said that to them and they're like, oh, but I'm so antsy, I don't think I can. It's like, none of them. They all seem to like be able to sit in one place. Get more in touch with your intuition. I would not recommend being still if that is not intuitive to you, and if that doesn't feel good to you. You have all the permission. If you need permission, I'm giving you permission. Do whatever the fuck your body is saying it needs to do to feel safe. If that means like hiking a mountain and being on top of the mountain and just breathing in the fresh air, do that. If that means like renting an Airbnb and laying in the bathtub for 3 hours at a time, fucking do that. Like, we do not need to be subscribing to this idea that in order to be in tune with ourselves, we need to be fucking still. I actually genuinely hope that that does give permission to other weirdos to like be weird and accept that your weirdness is like, doesn't mean that you're not a spiritual person. I do not sit down and meditate. I fucking don't. And I'm a medium. If I could be a medium and not meditate, then I'm literally, if you need someone to give you permission to do whatever weird thing you need to do to feel into your body and then get in touch with your intuition, I'm giving you permission to do that as long as it doesn't hurt yourself or other people. I realize the pain stem sounds like I'm hurting myself. I am, but it feels good and I'm not breaking skin, okay? Okay, all this helps. Love you, bye.